It's me, Shane, Gemini Garage, and we got another quad project today. This one's had some stuff coming its way. It needs a new cap on the spark plug wire. It needs an oil change and probably a drain and a check of the carburetor because it started not running so well today. So I'm going to kind of break down what we need to do to it, and we'll get after it. Stick with me. So first off, here a while back, this spark plug wire boot, the old one, the brass thing came off on the spark plug, and this just got all screwed up. So I kind of had to temporarily rig it so that he could still ride it or still use it. So kind of show you what I did here once I get it apart. I basically took a nut that would fit on top of the spark plug wire, or on top of the spark plug, and put a wire going from the top of this thing here into the original coil wire here. And just put some tape on here. And that wire is just kind of in there. Alright, let me grab some pliers so I can pull that tape off. Okay, so if you're not familiar with these spark plug boot deals here, let me see if I can get this off of here. It's basically like a screw inside of there, and then your terminal here goes onto the spark plug. But this thing, like I said, it's just pretty much a screw in there, and you pretty much just you want to make sure your boot's on here. Put your boot over the wire first, but you basically just stick this thing in here and screw it into the center of the spark plug wire here. So I'm going to just nip a little bit off of this here so we can make sure we've got some good clean surface wire in there. Let me see if I'm even getting any of this. So again, I'm just gonna nip a little bit of this off here. Maybe nip just a little bit more off. Okay. Now let's put our boot over the wire part here. Now this stuff can get kind of tricky here. You might want to put a little WD-40 or something on that wire or on that boot to help it on there. I'll just get this started in here. Like I said, you just get that screw in the center and just basically screw it in there. Kind of a funky deal. That's what you're supposed to do. I'll put some pliers on here so I can kind of hold this while I twist it on there a little bit. Alright, so I got this on there. I think it's on there. I'm going to pull my boot up here. Put my boot onto there. Like that. And while that thing's off, I'm going to check the spark plug because it was a spark plug wrench here. It's kind of crummy looking. A little sooty. Nothing too crazy. And clean this thing off and I'll be back. That's good enough. Plug back in here. I'm going to drain this carburetor real quick too, just because I think it maybe had some condensation in there. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Okay, this cap, you have to have the fucking nub on there. Son of a bitch. Alright, so I got another one of these things here. This one has the smaller little thing for the spark plug in there. Some of the spark plugs, the old spark plugs, they'd have a little nub that would screw on the end of it for a bigger socket. And these don't have that. These just go straight over the spark plug. So I needed another one of these with the smaller thing in there. So let me see if I can grab the plug real quick and show you. This goes in and sticks in there, and that doesn't, because this has the bigger thing in there, like that. So we're going to put this one on. Same drill. Put these pliers on here so we can get a couple extra turns on here. Okay, plug back in. Okay, got the cap on there. I'm going to drain this carburetor out just a little bit here. Okay, now we're going to turn our gas on here, see if it's running any better, and then we're going to change the oil. So, it wasn't in neutral, and I couldn't figure out why it wasn't in neutral. And I tried moving the thing. This thing, instead of a dirt bike like 1 down, 5 up, it's all the way up and then you go down to shift it. And when my father pulled this up here, he just left it in gear. So anyways, I turned the gas on, already drained a little bit out of the carburetor, cleaned the plug up and put the new plug in there. Changing the oil on one of these is kind of a pain. You've got this drain plug and it's right there. I don't know if you can see it, but it's kind of right under the case there. And you need a extension and a 24 millimeter socket to get at that. And there's also, when you take that drain plug out of there, there's also a spring behind it. So I'm going to I'll just kind of leave the camera right here. I think you can kind of get some of that there. Go ahead and take your dipstick out so it can get some air in there and drain the oil out faster. Move your tripod too so you don't trip over that. Okay. You should do this over dirt or cardboard, or at least have a big drain pan. And let me kind of try and reach underneath here. There's a little filter in there. And it is not wanting to come out. Trying to remember what year TRX200 this is. I think it's an 84. So anyways, I'll get a better picture of this stuff, but here you got your drain plug, your spring, and then your nasty little filter there. So I'll clean these up. Again, we got our screen here, our spring, and our drain plug there. The trick to this thing is putting this stuff back on there. First goes the filter, then goes the spring, then goes the, I believe that's how it goes. Yeah, because the spring would be munching that. So I believe that just goes in there like that. And then this goes over there like that. But you've got to thread this thing in there without cross-threading it. So you got to make sure you put your extension and your wrench on there and twist it backwards a couple times until you feel those threads kind of drop in there and engage. I would imagine there's quite a few of these things running around out there that are stripped. So anyways, I'm going to set the camera back over here and put this thing back in. And before I put the drain plug back in, I'm going to just lift this thing up on its side just a little bit to make sure got all the oil that's going to come out of there. So that's the hole right there that the plug's got to go into. We've got our spring and our filter here. And we're just going to go ahead and set those things in there. Wipe my hands off a little bit here. This is an oily job, so this is messy. So then you're gonna take and you're gonna put your drain plug on here, and you're gonna snake it up into here. And I didn't get it on there quite right. Okay, so we got it engaged. Now we got to, like I said, we got to spin this thing backwards till we feel those threads engage. It's a fidgety job, that's for sure. Sometimes you can't even use the wrench, you just have to use your hands. For some reason, I'm having a really hard time with this today. But that's what it's all about sometimes. There we go. Probably better to do it with your fingers. I think what happened here is this extension was a little bit too big. I should have used a smaller extension and something on this socket, because this extension was kind of hitting the bottom of the case here and not letting me... it's going at it straight enough to get the wrench on there, but wasn't going at it straight enough to get it to thread in there. If that makes any sense. Okay, this stuff's got oil all over it now, and I'm dripping oil all over it. I don't know where it disappeared to. I think I'm laying on it. Nature of the beast. Everything's got oil on it, so. Okay. Well, that ends that part of the oily mess there. Alright, just gonna put some 40 weight in here. I'm trying to remember how much this thing takes. Have to look it up. I'll just check the dipstick, but for you folks... I had the seat off. I was making sure the battery connections were okay when it wasn't starting, because I didn't have it in neutral like a dumbass. All right. Oil in there. All right, let's see what we got. Choke it. Likes to be choked. All right, well, that's pretty much going to do it. I think that turned out well. We got the oil changed. We got the spark plug out of there and cleaned the fouling off of that, and we got our proper spark plug wire boot on there. I am going to zoom in real quick and just kind of show you what my little spark plug wire hack was when that cap was busted there. So basically what I did is, all spark plugs have this little threaded end on them here. And some of them have a little round kind of a thing that screws on here. It's kind of smooth on the sides for a larger thing to clip on. And then there's these kind here. And and that was what was happening with the one cap, is the one cap is designed for the larger nut that goes on here, as opposed to the smaller one. But anyways, my hack for when the old cap busted was, I took a piece of wire and I crimped an eyelet on there, and I stuck that on there, and then I put a little washer and a little nut on there, and then just took this end here and stuffed it up into the spark plug wire there, the existing coil wire coming off of there, and then just put a little bit of tape around it. So that was good enough to get it around for a day or two. So if your spark plug cap breaks off and you got a piece of wire or an eyelet or something like this, probably not a bad idea to have some of these materials with you. If you got a little toolkit on your quad, not a bad idea to, definitely a good idea to stick some wire in there. But anyways, that was my fix for when this busted. So anyways, I hope you learned something, hope it was educational for you, and until the next video, Shane, Gemini Garage.